Guys, we're going to be talking about the main event of UFC 205, middleweight title fight between Michael the Count Bisping and Dan H-Bomb Hendo Henderson. This is the most unlikely middleweight title fight I could possibly imagine. If prior to UFC 199 you told me that eventually we were going to have Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson for a title in 2016, I'd say, motherfucker, give me some of that weed that you're smoking because it must be some damn good shit. But no, it's the truth. Here we are talking about it. I think that it's pretty simple. Most people think that Dan Henderson has that big old right hand, that H-bomb, and he has the bigger chance of ending this fight. A lot of people also think that Michael Bisping, just a volume striker, he's going to be able to keep his distance, take this thing to a decision. So the two options are Henderson inside the distance via KO, TKO, Bisping via decision. Wrong-o, my friends. Dan Henderson has a very, very depleted chin. When he fought Vitor Belfort, Vitor threw a single strike and it was a head kick. Boom. Fight over. It was very similar when Dan fought Gegard, the Dreamcatcher Mousasi. Mousasi finished him once again with not many strikes. Hector Lombard almost finished Dan in the first round, dropped him, did that weird scramble thing where Dan goes for the takedown, and they just kind of did that for a long time. And then we're thinking about, oh my gosh, will Dan Henderson finish Hector Lombard? I'm going to tell you one thing that Michael Bisping is not going to do, and that is stand in almost one spot without doing anything for almost 50 seconds. Yeah, that is almost exactly what Hector Lombard did in the second round. Meanwhile, his corner is screaming at him, move! Just move! Move your feet! Yeah, that's not going to be happening in this one. Bisping is going to be real active with the feet. This guy has fantastic footwork. He also knows where to put his feet inside, outside of his opponent's stance in order to get his left hook and all of the strikes that he throws in the correct order, in the correct manner, where he's putting his feet. It's very important. Also, Bisping's a lot taller than short man Hector Lombard, so I do not think that Dan Henderson is going to be able to get his foot that high. I think the line, even though Bisping's like a 2-1 favorite, I don't think it's high enough. Dan Henderson is 43 years old, and any person over 39 years old only wins 25% of the time. Just the law of averages, Dan won his last fight, probably not going to win the next fight. I know that Bisping's up there in age as well, but speaking of them being old, we know that Michael Bisping is more adaptable than Dan Henderson. Dan's been doing the same thing for a long time. He'll throw that left inside leg kick and then H-bomb over the top. He'll throw these really short leg kicks where he doesn't actually mean to hurt your leg, but get you thinking about it, getting you looking down at it, and then boom, overhand right from hell, right? He does have some wrestling skills, but we haven't seen him use those in a super long time. People are going to be talking about, well, Dan is going to utilize his wrestling in this fight. When's the last time we saw him utilize his wrestling? And on the flip side, Michael Bisping has probably some of the best wrestling we've ever seen from one of these European guys. And speaking to his adaptability, his coach Jason Perillo put together a solid game plan for Michael Bisping to take that belt from Luke Rockhold. In their first fight, you want to watch Luke Thomas do a Monday Morning Analyst recapping the rematch between Bisping and Rockhold. It is incredible. Luke Thomas does a fantastic job. But what he highlights on that edition of the Monday Morning Analyst is in their first fight, Bisping was just throwing 2 strikes at a time. And if he were to add a third strike from his jab cross, it would just be a leg kick. And every time he threw the jab cross, Rockhold just kind of leaned away, hit him with a check right hook. So in the rematch, I spoke to the foot placement. Bisping was able to get that honed in, and when he would throw his jab cross, Luke would just lean away. Bam. Left hand right over the top of Luke's guard. Chow. Knocked him out in the very first round. Incredible stuff. I think that speaks to his adaptability and his coachability even this late in the game. I'm giving so many advantages to Bisping. I don't think that he has as much power just naturally. I don't know. Must be the torque in Henderson's little body. But I just don't think that Henderson has many advantages in this bout. Now, I don't think that Henderson has a great chin. I have the advantage, or I have the luxury, the pleasure of interacting with Sam Alvey sometimes on Facebook. He's in a group that I participate in where we talk about fights. And he trains with Dan Henderson, and he said, Honest to goodness, I've hit Dan with everything I have before, and he just fires right back. I just really find that hard to believe because Dan, his chin obviously depleted. If you don't believe me, just go watch his previous fights on UFC Fight Pass. This guy gets rocked and gets all goofy with very early strikes in the fight. I don't think this fight goes the distance. Very little chance that Dan Henderson is able to go 5 rounds with Michael Bisping. I just don't see it happening. I don't like the line where it is right now, just straight up with Michael Bisping, but where I see a lot of value is Michael Bisping via KO or TKO. It's almost that even money. So join me in playing that. Tell me if you're betting on the underdog in Dan Henderson and for what reason. Because it's his last hurrah? Because he has that overhand right? Because he's already beat Michael Bisping? That was a super long time ago, folks. Really long time ago. I don't think that should play any factor into the 2016 matchup. Michael the Count Bisping via KO or TKO. Dan Henderson, respectful guy. I respect the guy. Legendary career. He's going to leave the Ultimate Fighting Championships and ride off into retirement on a loss. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section down below. See you on my next video. Namaste. Alright, I'm just doing a double check here, checking my audio, which I got in my shirt right now. Recording with my phone this time, and also checking out if I can wear this shirt while I record this video.